Today, on Be Something Wonderful, your actions don't create reality. Your assumptions do, all of it. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. It's Sunday morning here in the studios of Be Something Wonderful in Las Vegas. We have a big video for you this morning. This relates to an email coaching session I had with a client. And after she got back to me, after I answered her questions, here was her response. Oh my God, I just got it. I love this when you get it, when it clicks, right? I am God now, always, since the beginning of time. These are her words, very powerful. I encapsulated them. It was a little bit longer than what I'm showing here. There was a lot in there, but I'm going to cover it this morning. So I am God now, always, since the beginning of time. Before I came into this 3D body, it is impossible not to be. This is nothing I have, there is nothing I have ever said, did, thought, or felt, or could ever think, or say, do, or feel that changes that. I really love this. This is big. I really want to point this out. Her insight here is huge, right? That nothing changes that. Nothing that you've ever said, did, thought, felt, or could ever think, say, do, or feel changes who you really are. That's big. We're going to cover this today in terms of questions that I've had around inspired action, what action to take. It relates a little bit to yesterday's video as well. And she says here, it is mine now. No matter what 3D plays out, it is my truth now. I had some fear of releasing a tight grip on my 3D self and control through 3D action. So talking about this control, that we try to control things through our action, both interactions of thoughts and feelings, and outer actions of physical actions in 3D. I was afraid of losing it, losing her control, right? Even as it was so inauthentic and hard work. She says it was inauthentic and hard work. Then she says, I don't have to work so hard to be okay. In other words, to be who you really are. There was more, but I really want to hit this. She's got it. Right? And remember, action, when we talk about action, it's not only what you do or don't do in 3D reality, it's what you say, it's what you think and feel. There's interactions as well that we're talking about. So I want to hit this. Remember, it's not about the words you speak or the actions you take. Words and actions don't create reality. Your assumptions and awareness of being do. That is who and what you're conscious of being. That's why Jesus asked, who do you say I am? That I am, that self-concept, that's your self-concept, that creates reality. From what assumptions are you doing those actions? From what assumptions are you thinking and feeling and speaking and affirming and imagining? That's the question. From what state of being? Is it from love and connecting with what you love? Or is it from lack of what you desire? Is it the connection, the love of what you desire, or the lack of it? What you accept and consent as true of yourself in the world. That's your self-concept. That's what we mean. Comes from what Neville got it, his words. What you accept and consent to as true, as your truth of yourself in the world. That's your self-concept. In other words, who do you say I am? That creates reality. If I had a different, this is what Neville says, if you had a different concept of yourself, everything would be different. You are what you are, so everything is as it is. I love this. You are what you are, so everything is as it is. But you get to decide that. Who do you say I am? Jesus said you get to decide that. The events you observe are determined by the concept you have of yourself. Here he's referring almost to the observer effect that they talk about in physics. That you affect and influence and really create what you observe. Your observing is reality. Your perceiving is reality. There's nothing outside of you. You are not separate from the reality you're observing. You not only influence the events in that reality, you create them. In other words, you determine which version of events or reality you will observe by who you announce yourself to be. That's why we did that 48-hour challenge in one of the videos. where you decide on an upcoming event what version of events that you want to experience. You call it all. By what you announce yourself to be. It's your announcement of reality. Very powerful. Remember, here you are, all versions of you. This is you, this dotted black stick figure. That's you having a focused 3D physical experience based on your assumptions. Through all those infinite beings that you are, all of those infinite selves, all of those identities, from who you say you are determines your experience or frame of reality you will experience. And those frames then get threaded together into what we call a lifeline or film roll or script or experience of reality. But it depends where your focus is. But all of these versions of you, all superimposed one over another, all you, all though have their own specific focused stream of consciousness. But it's all you, and then your 3D experience is the vantage point you're looking out, the assumptions from which you're looking out. Who do you say you are? You are all that is. You're all of it. Infinite versions of you identities, infinite versions of realities and events, right? Where there's a reality, there's an observer. Where there's an observer, there's a reality. Where there's an infinite you, there's a reality. Where there's a reality, there's an infinite you. You can create nothing, but your assumptions determine what portion of creation you will experience. This is Neville Goddard, right? You can create nothing. All of these realities already exist. All of these infinite versions of you already exist. You determine your experience of reality by your assumptions, right? You determine what portion of you, what portion of all that is, what portion of all that you are that you want to experience next. And remember, in each of those portions, in each of that 0.00001% of you or reality is all of reality. You're always at the center of God consciousness. You're always at the center of infinity. And in that center is all of God, all power, all potential, all that is, all the time. So what you do or say, your outer actions, and think and feel, your inner actions, don't determine outcomes or create reality. They're not reality. Who and what you're conscious of being and your assumptions about yourself and the world do. That I am identity creates reality. Those are effects, right? So they create these assumptions, who and what you're conscious of being, your awareness of being, consciousness itself. They create your entire life experience of reality. Your I am story creates your reality. It's your focus and attention on fulfillment, already being the person you desire to be. I am that inspires and chants everything you do, say, think, and feel. This is what this client was getting at, right? When she said this. I want to go back to this. This is powerful. She says it here, it's impossible not to be. It's impossible not to be who you are. There is nothing I have ever said, did, thought, felt, or could ever think, say, do, or feel that changes that changes who you are. Very big insight. So those assumptions and that identity creates it all. So it's your focus and attention on fulfillment, already being the person you desire to be. I am that inspires and chants everything you do, say, think, and feel. It becomes automatic and natural. Do you see it? It enchants it. It inspires those actions, both those interactions of thoughts and feelings, those spontaneous thoughts and feelings that you have, and your outer actions, what you say and do. All of it. So, thoughts of fear and doubt are still there, but are irrelevant in the light of your assumptions, right? Absolute conviction of fulfillment, of already being and having what you desire to be and have, knowing that you are that I am of Scripture, awareness of your desired reality and identity. Fear and doubt becomes irrelevant. They're there, but you're no longer giving them light or attention or identifying with them. And all your actions become inspired and enchanting, leading you across the bridge of incidents and along the path of least resistance to the physical unfolding and manifestation of your desired end. All your actions become enchanted when it comes from that assumption of fulfillment and not an assumption of lack and need, right? An assumption of love versus an assumption of lack, right? All of your actions are spied enchantment, leading you across the bridge of incidents along the path of least resistance to the physical unfolding and manifestation of your desired end. Remember, the bridge of incidents and the path of least resistance were already there. They were always there. Creation's finished. And they were created and lit up in the moment you assumed and became aware of already being that person you want to be. So you create it from the potential, but the potential's already there. It's already there in potential, but when you light it up with your assumptions, then that path unfolds, it reveals itself. The bridge of incidents reveals itself. And the moment you assume, the moment you announce, the moment you become aware of already being that person you desire to be. So powerful today. So when you have the inner conviction, which is your birthright, right? That inner conviction, I've had questions like, how do I get the inner conviction? It's already yours. By definition, I am is absolute faith. It's absolute fulfillment. It's your birthright. When you have that inner conviction of I am that already, then your words and what you say are an announcement of reality. And then what you do, your actions, what you do and don't do, is the physical unfolding of it. Do you see it? When you have that inner conviction, which you already have, it's absolute faith. I am, it's your birthright. Of I am that already, then your words or what you say are an announcement of reality. And then your actions or what you do or don't do is the physical unfolding of it. And what you think and feel within aligns more with it. These thoughts and feelings that don't align with it, fear and doubt, become irrelevant and fade from your awareness. That's powerful. You see it now. Even the things that you think and feel align with it. The spontaneous thoughts start aligning with it, and the ones that don't become irrelevant. You don't identify with them. This is more than faith, for it's a sure knowledge that we are dealing with law or the Lord. Ernest Holmes, I love this. This is more than faith. It is a sure knowledge or a knowing that we're dealing with law or the Lord. Do you see it? That's absolute faith. Absolute faith is a knowing. Right? The changeless reality, source. I am source and there is no other. Very powerful today. You already have perfect faith and conviction. I am. I assure you. It's there. When you say those words, that's perfect faith. That's why Jesus didn't directly answer his disciples when they said, increase our faith. Right? Remember when they pleaded to Jesus, increase our faith. Jesus didn't answer them. Instead, what did he say? He goes, so say the Lord, or the law, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you can say to this mulberry tree, be pulled up by the roots and be planted in the sea, and it would obey you. In other words, what's Jesus saying? A mustard seed is perfect faith. It's absolute faith. It's not a small amount of faith. It's absolute faith. It knows that it's a mustard seed, and always a mustard seed. It will grow into a mustard plant or a mustard tree. It's absolute conviction of I am. I am aware or conscious of being whoever or whatever I assume and imagine. That's what the faith of a mustard seed means. And then when he says you can say to the mulberry tree, be pulled up by the roots and planted in the sea and it will obey you, it means you announce your reality. You quantum leap or shift to your desired reality. He's talking about shifting realities there. That's a quantum leap. That's talking about infinite realities. You move to the reality where that mulberry tree is planted in the sea. Do you see it? That's powerful. Increase our faith. What does he say? It's already yours. You already have perfect faith. It's already there. And you can move to any identity or reality that you choose by declaring that, by announcing it, by being conscious and aware of already being that person that you assume and imagine to be. Source, the law, the Lord, the isness and beingness is impersonal and unconditional love. This question always came up. It came up again. Tom, how do I know I'm doing the right things, saying the right things, thinking the right things, feeling the right things? Remember, right and wrong, good and bad, in love and not in love. Some of you go, well, I was in love with her or him, and now I'm not in love with her or him. All that's conditional ideas of the 3D personality. All of those are ideas of separation and lack. Right? That doesn't mean God is cold and uncaring. Remember, God is impersonal. and unconditional love. Impersonal doesn't mean cold and uncaring. It's the opposite. It means God doesn't see itself separate from anything or anyone. God only sees unity. God only sees perfection, unity, wholeness, or holiness, or oneness. That's what impersonal means. But that's what gives it its power. Because God doesn't see anything separate or separation. That means all of God is within you. And you have all the power within you to be, do, or have whatever you want. That's what gives it power. Right? It is pure awareness, all life, and therefore it is for all life. Without judging, without condemning, without limiting your experience of that one life or reality in any way. That's the true definition of unconditional love. God, because God doesn't see anything or anyone as separate, it sees it as one or one life, then that life must be, then God must be for all life equally, without placing one more important, right or wrong, or good or bad, or any duality or relativity. It's all important. It's all life. That's the true definition of being impersonal. Only seeing unity, only seeing love, not judging or condemning any part of you or reality. That's powerful. So, but seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all things shall be added to you. In other words, seek the kingdom. I am that I am. Not the self-righteousness. It's not about doing the right things or being a good person or saying the right things or thinking or feeling the right things. Who gets to judge the right things? Do you see it? All of that follows. All of that's an effect of your assumptions and your awareness. Right? Everything is yours by your right of consciousness. That's the only right there is, by the right of your I amness. You were born worthy. You were born deserving. Everything's yours by right of consciousness and no other right. It's not about doing the right things or being a good person or saying the right things. That's all judgments of reality, of duality and relativity. Right? There's only love. There's only unity. It's about seeing that unity, seeing that love, and then doing and thinking and saying those things out of that unity, out of that knowing, out of that awareness that you're one with God. You're one with everything. You're one with all that is. That's what gives those what you say and what you do and what you think and feel the righteousness of God, because you only see unity. All your assumptions of who and what you say you are determine your entire physical experience of the kingdom that Jesus was talking about. Right? Assume and connect with your desired end and what you love, identifying as your highest ideal. I am that I am, and everything you desire, everything you do, everything you say, everything you think, and everything you feel becomes enchanted. Connect with that. Connect with love. The love of what you want. That's why Bashar said, follow your bliss. That's why Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. Bashar said, follow your excitement. Right? Follow your source. And source is love. Source doesn't judge or condemn anything. Source only sees unity, only sees wholeness, only sees you in the perfection that you are. Right? That's the true nature. That's it. Remember, source of God, that divine power with which you are one, is unlimited and unconditional love and unconditional power. It's all that is. Believing you have to do, say, think, and feel certain things, or meet certain conditions before you can be that person you want to be or have the things you want to have, implies that God's love or source is limited and conditional. It implies some other source, which is impossible. That's why God doesn't judge or condemn anything, because God's love is unconditional. If God judged or condemned anything that you say or do or feel or think, then God's love would be conditional. God doesn't say, I'll only love you if you do this or do that or think this or think that or say this or say that. God loves you anyway, unconditionally. Period. That's what unconditional love is, because God only sees you as that whole perfect being that you are. He only sees unity. So believing that you need to say or control or be certain things, say, do, think, feel, right, certain things, or meet certain criteria or conditions before you're deserving, before you're worthy, before you can be that person you want to be or have those things you want to have, implies God's love or source is conditional and it is limited. And that's impossible. There's only God, there's only source. It implies there's some other source. It implies that you don't trust your own inner authority, your own I amness, to work through you and as you to bring you everything you desire. Trust in that. Remember what Jesus says, you believe in God, believe in me also. You believe in God, you believe in that higher power, believe in that I am, that I am power is within you. Wow. That's why your actions don't create reality, your assumptions do, all of it. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, for joining our Instagram and Twitter channels at Tom Kearin, and also for being a part of our membership channel. There's a link below. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. If you've joined us, thank you for joining. Thank you for being with us. We have a live stream coming a week from today, September 24th, 2023 at 9 a.m. in the morning, to be broadcast exclusively on the membership channel, where I'm going to answer the questions that you've been sending me to info@besomethingwonderful.com. Remember, there's also other live streams that we've already had that are already on the channel where I've answered questions. You can check those out. They're also on the membership channel. And there'll be a video coming shortly, a big one, on the membership channel. All that and more. This is Tom with Be Something Wonderful in the studios in Las Vegas, with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude. Creators, we'll see you soon.